the next day after Earthwork Harvest Gathering, where I just played with my band. I'm the only one in the band, I feel like, that can't say my band. Because if I say my band, it sounds like a Jessica and the Rainbow Band. But it's all of our bands. But it's not, it's all of our bands in the band. Oh my gosh. Anyway, the band I'm in, Cloudlight. And we were at the festival all weekend. And I definitely, it's hard for me to ground myself when I'm around that many people, especially people I care about all at once. Some people that I care about who are in my immediate circle. I don't have any family in Michigan except for my boyfriend, Brian, so my band and friends connected to that band, and friends connected to the house shows we do. It's a small crowd, but it feels pretty much like family for me. Yeah. It's important to me. It's nice to spend so much time with them and spend time, I don't know. We're leaving. That was technically our first day of tour. We're leaving for tour on Friday. We are going to Madison, Wisconsin on Friday. And it's actually surprisingly far from Michigan if you look at a map, because there's a giant lake in between the two. So I had to kind of loop around the lake and go up through, through 4 states from here to Madison. And I'm from Wisconsin, so. And then the next day we're doing a Milwaukee show, also Wisconsin. Yeah, this is my 3 days on a farm here. Even though I just played a show last night, you just can't do much about it in a festival. There's porta potties, and that's it. But I felt like it might be wise to do a quick check-in video, because, even if I don't share this one, because, by day 3 of any experience that isn't my normal experience, I float off somewhere else. I don't know. I wrote a lot of songs on the farm. Maybe not a lot. 4, 5, I don't know. And our set was lovely. It's hard doing things that have a lot of A, pressure to them, or B, a lot of time to think about them in advance. So I want to talk a little about that for you. Oh, frogs on my pants. And for me too. Oh, I feel like the fest aged me. No, I'm just getting older. Y'all are, but whatever. Mascara, wow, not a good look. Sorry. I mean, sorry, not sorry. And one of the songs that I wrote was about, like, being a weed, and me and my friends all being weeds and being uprooted, weeded out from society, being deemed unnecessary. I don't know if you knew this, but in Canada there are grants, tons of them. My friend Abigail is from Toronto, and she's like, I try not to tell this to Americans because it makes them feel bad. There are so many grants in Canada for the arts, for people to record an album, to go to a convention, to, all these things that most artists can't afford, the whole starving artist concept. There are so many grants there. And their arts are amazing, so good job, Canada. And US, keep up, because, I don't know, like right after, I won't say their name, let's just say late 2016, early 2017, when arts funding was cut way back. I mean, it was just like we were living in some creepy Orwellian time, and I was just like, what is going on? Why? Like, why? Why demoralize your artist? Oh, yeah. Like, it's in every book. Like, how to become a dictator. No, I don't know. I'm not going to talk about that. That's too intense. The whole point of doing this was to kind of reconnect to my normalcy, not to make a political rant video. Anyway, so yeah, I wrote some songs, felt some feelings, played a song on stage with Cloudlight, the band I'm also in, but played a Jessica and the Rainbow song that Seth had worked on with me, and it's just, there's so much coming full circle. It was really magical and meaningful, and, you know, anxiety being rough, and, you know, after a show goes well, then just going and sitting somewhere and writing a song and realizing you're okay, you belong, you never not belonged. I mean, you do and you don't. That's what's so strange. It's like, I didn't belong when I first went there. I still don't belong now. Like, belonging is a weird concept. It's sort of like you belong if you think you belong. Because none of us think we belong. I mean, the circle that I hung out with, I'll maybe post that video someday, but we made up a song during my friend's set that the power went out. And before she played a for real power went out set, she wasn't going to play, and so we made up a song for my YouTube video. We were just oohing and ahhing, and her head kind of descends from the screen, and she sings some main melody things, and it's really beautiful and lovely and goofy and silly, and multiple friends are in it, and it's delicate and charming, and there's harmonies, and my friend Mac playing the drums, and Josie being cute, and Brian doing yoga and playing harmonica, and it's just, you know, some enchanting little moment in time. And where was I going with that? I got lost in how much I love that. Oh, friends. So I don't think any of those people, like, there isn't something where, like, the seven of us, my friend Brian Mulder was in there too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Was it only 6? It felt so many, so big. Oh, Micah walked up. Micah from Breathe I'll Breathe. So he's a friend of ours. Like, there isn't some, like, written form that says that those people are the inner circle of that moment, and then anyone else isn't allowed to walk up. Like, I would have been grateful if, like, my friend Luna, who we'd been hanging out with that weekend, if she had walked up, or, you know, anyone from the Earthwork farm that we're less close with, because we're new there. If any of them had walked up, Emily of the Crane Wives, Kate Pillsbury of the Crane Wives, like, these are people I admire and love. They're not maybe in our main hangout group because they don't live near us or we don't do the same music projects. But Brian Mulder and I don't do the same music projects, but, you know, he has played shows at our house right there. And so it's like, it's just kind of place and time, like where you are. And I guess it never occurred to me that all the situations, until I wrote that song on their kitchen area on a ukulele, you know, before it became a Cloudlight song, it was just a song to relieve me of my anxiety. Like, oh, all the things that I felt outside of, maybe those were just lies in my mind, and I was never outside, or no one kept me out. It's not an intentional thing others are doing to you socially. It's not, I mean, when I was in middle school, it was. There was a group that specifically wrote me a note. They probably don't remember doing this. They wrote me a note, I found it as an adult, that said, "You're a sweet kid. We don't want to be your friend anymore, but you're a sweet kid." And I don't even know what else they said. Traumatizing stuff. I think I threw it away when I found it because I was like, ew, it was gross. And like, no wonder I was messed up from that. Like, who would do that? I'm not going to call out your names, but you messed me up, gals. Anyway, you know, and I guess we all do really dumb stuff when we're younger, so I finally was able to forgive them, but the way I was able to forgive them, because I was hating them years ago, I was still disliking them as adults, and then I was like, well, but you gotta remember, it's not the adult versions of them that did that to you. It was the child versions of them. You know, maybe they would go back and change it too. So then I started, like, looking around at actual 6th graders and being like, oh yeah, I'm holding on to the ghosts of memories of these people. And I learned this trick in therapy. Holding on to the ghosts of memories of people. And I've let those ghosts age with me to where I was looking around at my adult society and thinking, oh, these adults are like hating on me. I mean, and I'm not talking about like perceiving each other's differences and not liking the way we live. Like, I probably accidentally don't give enough love and dignity to people who like devote their life to sports, because I devote my life to music. So I'm not talking about that. That's just preferences. That's just where you belong based on your preferences. Like, I belong in music communities, sometimes theater communities, depending if they're very like creativity based, like write your own kind of stuff based. But not usually theater communities that are based on like talking about certain methods. And I have friends who are ridiculously amazing at that. They're professors. But I don't tend to have anything to say in those crowds, and I tend to feel kind of outside of that. You know, my MFA training on writing musicals isn't really related, and even that I've kind of abandoned. And if I go to do it again, it would be in a very fluid, like, I'm a writer who just makes crap up kind of way. Like, I wouldn't be about methods and stuff. So, but they are, and it's beautiful, and they teach amazing classes on it. So it's like, that's a different kind of belonging. No one's keeping me out on that. Like, I could go study those things, but I don't want to. So, anyway, I think that on the topic of belonging in fields where you feel a resonance, there's so much more than I ever knew that has to do with just who walked up, who invited themselves, who felt connected already through identification. Sorry, low power mode. Who felt connected already through identification and then just connected themselves. And then when someone does that, if they're basically decent people, then the people in that thing just kind of bring them in. Like, you're not... I mean, there are situations where I have boundaries and I keep things smaller, and usually that has to do with anxiety. But sometimes it has to do with family vibes. Like, if you're just feeling really close to just your one significant other, or but even that's kind of anxiety. Like, a lot of times when I need circles to stay small, it's because of things I'm feeling, things I'm going through, could be things I need to talk about with someone very close to me. It could be situational, like backstage before a show. I'm not a very kind person. I'm not mean, but I don't want to connect with people. I'm trying to get my own inner state aligned. And, you know, that's not personal. It's not about you. It's about me being present and being centered in a social environment where there's lots of people. And if you choose to take that personally, then that means you don't understand what it takes for me to do what I do, to get on a stage and not just play all the songs and sing all the words, but also connect with an audience. I have to connect with an audience from a space that's authentically me. And if I can't find my authentic self, the same authentic self that I find when I'm completely alone, if I can't find that in a space with lots of people, then the only way I can find that is by being a little bit chilly to kind of point out that I'm trying to go inside. And I don't know, it's hard. It's hard. I don't mean that like in a pity way for me. I just mean it's hard because, like, in the past, I would just not want anyone to feel bad, so I would just not do what I needed to do. I refuse to do that now. So now I try to do what I need to do. I mean, sometimes then it just creates more kind of tension because, you know, people feel bad, and then you're like, well, now I'm thinking about that, and it's like, it's just very hard. You know, there's just not a lot of spaces at my level musically to get away and just really connect with yourself. But it's still worth it. I see the merch we made. Those are the Dogtown Studio sessions. It's not in the case, so it'll look extra janky because you can see the tape. But we have little cases for them too. And there's the songs we did live. And yeah. Anyway. It's my Michigan or Great Lakes sweatshirt that I got for cheap somewhere. I don't remember where. Feeling a lot. Alright, well, there's my little grounding video. back in my day-to-day. Although we go back on the road in 4 days, but I know I needed this, so hope there's something useful in there for you too. Bye.